Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session. How are you people? Uh, chat. How are you all? Okay, so let's begin with day 5. Let's wait for a minute or so that others who are joining will join and nothing is missed. Okay, so let's wait for a minute or so, just a minute only, so that others can join. Okay, just a minute. Of performance management webinar for March 2021. I hope the webinar up till now uh, has helped you a lot, and the objective that I wanted to achieve from this webinar was to make performance management paper easy for you. The objective was to give you the idea about the marking scheme. The objective was to ensure that you people also learn the technique of section B, OTs, and section C, and how to use constructive response. So I hope things went well, and whatever we wanted to achieve, we have achieved that in this current webinar. Okay, just okay, rotate this. So let's begin now with day 5. Okay, so day 5 plan I'll share with you people. You know, it's day 5 today, and we did covered budgets first day, then variances, then decision making was covered the 4th day, and performance measurement was covered in the 3rd day. Okay, and today is advanced costing technique. Okay, so now today's agenda is we'll start with activity based costing first. Activity-based costing is another very popular topic of your paper. And you know what I've done before. I'll try to make it this very, very easy for you people. And I'll try my best that this becomes easy to handle in the paper, because this is one of the favorite topics of your examiner, right? Second, target costing is second. We will be focusing, then we'll move towards the past papers of that as well. Uh, After that, we will be covering the other areas, the new IT areas. I'll try to cover up a bit of EMA as well. So let's see the time, what time we left with, and we'll try to cover up these remaining areas, because these are also important for OTs. You can expect 3 to 4 OTs, okay, in section A coming up from these areas, because people are struggling these days with the objective test of section A, especially when it comes to the new areas of IT. So I'll try to give you the recap of that as well. Okay, then again, Q&A session and the break, same 5:30 to 5:30 to 5:40. We'll have a break of 10 minutes. Let's begin first with activity-based costing. Now, activity-based costing, it's ABC versus absorption costing. Okay, so it's ABC versus absorption costing. I'm sure you have heard about absorption costing. So absorption costing is a technique through which we absorb the overheads into product cost, right? ABC is an alternative technique. ABC is also a technique that absorbs the overheads into product cost. But if I compare ABC with absorption costing, so it's very easy to say that ABC is much better technique compared to absorption costing. So ABC uses certain important things known as cost pools and cost drivers, as you can see here. According to activity-based costing, it uses cost pools and cost drivers to absorb the overhead. So if you're not still clear what cost pool is, so it's simple. Cost pool is activities and cost driver is activity level. Okay, cost driver is activity level. The steps of ABC, I think, are really crucial for everybody to understand. If you understand these steps, so I can make this really easy for you, because the $1,000,000 technique that I will be telling you people will definitely help you a lot. Okay, the first is identify cost pools. This is the first one. Again, the activity. Then identify logical cost drivers. So the word logical sometimes it's tested in the paper, because sometimes students do struggle in finding the realistic cost driver for that respective cost pool. Okay, then calculate absorption, calculate overhead absorption rate, which is OAR. We call this as OAR, and the formula to work out this is budgeted overheads, right, divided by budgeted activity level. So we can call this as OAR, and through OAR we absorb the overheads into product cost. The last step is to absorb overheads into products. So let's make a shortcut for this to remember. If you don't know this shortcut before, if you've not studied from me before, so this will be a good shortcut to remember, and it will help you in your calculations. So what exactly shortcut I will suggest here? So I'll just highlight. So the word cost pool is the first one. The second is cost driver. This is what you need to keep in your mind. Then the absorption rate, and then absorb. So the mnemonic to remember for steps is 2C2A. Okay, 2C2A means cost pool, then cost driver, then absorption rate, and then absorb. Okay, so the mnemonic is 2C2A. So if you want to learn the steps, just remember my shortcut, and that is 2C2A: cost pool, cost drivers, absorption rate, and absorb. Okay, now absorption costing steps are 2C2A. And now I think it's time to move towards a question, and let's deal with the question and see how I will make this easy for you. So tip of the day for section B remains the same one. Read the case and requirements very carefully, as you know that you don't have to consider OTs of Section B in isolation. Examiner has repeatedly said that people are not following the scenario requirements, and that is why they are not getting 2 marks. Okay. Be able to apply knowledge of theories and techniques to the scenario given, like the technique that right now we are discussing is activity-based costing. So you have to apply the knowledge of ABC. Close reading is also important for identifying the instructions in the question on how to round answers. Okay, on how to round answers. So this is instruction is important. So let's move on with the past paper question for today. Okay. So the first question that I'll start with is Jola Publishing Company. Maybe you have done this before, but the point here I want to make is that let's learn this through a new technique. The technique that I will tell you, the $1,000,000 strategy to deal with ABC calculations that I'll tell you will make your understanding really easy to and you will be able to control the things easily. So let's now move towards the slide, and here we have the $1,000,000 points. So for me, the word $1,000,000 is really important. I do share $1,000,000 plans, and this is $1,000,000 points. So now there are 4 steps to consider, my friends. First, whenever you start an ABC question, okay, whenever you are solving activity-based costing question, there are 4 questions I want you people to ask yourself by reading the requirement. So whenever you read the requirement of ABC questions, you have to ask these 4 questions from yourself, and this can make your life really easy. To be honest, this will really be good for you. This will make your mindset clear, and yes, this technique will help you so much that you can exactly do the calculation what is being required. So let's see this $1,000,000 strategy. First question that you will ask yourself by reading the question of the paper is identify the technique. So first you need to identify the technique. So what I mean to say by technique, so it could be absorption costing that is being required, or it could be ABC costing. So this is what you need to determine, right? Then identify the product. Okay, identify the product in question of ABC, because it's CBE now, and you know that this section on this topic is not tested in section C. So now you will not be required to do the calculation of all the products in one objective test. Okay, so that will be really bad for you people. So it would be one product that you need to identify, and not just product, it could be a service as well. In my previous webinars, I did covered ABC service question as well. So I'll recommend that in the $1,000,000 points, or sorry, $1,000,000 plan. And you do watch that or as well, because that was a service based question, and normally students do struggle in service. So I've covered that as well. So product. Third, identify whether per unit. Now this is an important question. Identify whether per unit or total units answer is required. Okay, so you need to determine this as well, whether the answer needs to be worked out per unit, okay, or the answer needs to be worked out for the total number of units. Okay, so this is very important to consider. Per unit answer you want, or total units answer you want. This is important to determine as well. Then we have identify whether total cost or overhead answer is required. Okay, so total cost or overhead is different. Obviously, when I say total cost, so it includes your direct material, it includes a direct labor, and it also includes overheads, right? And when I say overheads, so you know that it only includes overheads, right? So it is also important to determine whether the total cost answer is required or the overhead answer is required. And for overhead as well, I'll add one thing here. All cost pools, or just one? Okay, now this is also important to determine that the answer that you need to work out for overheads as well. So that is for the all cost pools that you have, or just one cost pool over an answer you need. Now, just keep this in your mind. I just try to memorize this. This is in front of you, so please just try to memorize this. Uh, and let me repeat it quickly before I move towards the question. So the first is technique. Okay, so I'll ask these questions once I move towards the question. So I ask you people and I want a quick response, right? So identify technique, identify product, identify whether answer needs to be shown per unit or total for total number of units, and identify whether total cost answer is required inclusive of overheads or just the overheads, and in that just one cost pool overhead, two cost pool overhead, or all the cost pools overhead. Okay, so I hope this is clear and very much now easy. I hope you even have copied this, so this makes easy for you to grip. Let's move towards the question, and as per the general instruction that I gave you from day one, is let's quickly look at the question requirements. So we do understand that what are calculative ones, and it is easy for us to plan as well, because it's a 18-minute question. Obviously in 18 minutes you need to wind up this question. So let's begin. 57, what is the overhead cost per unit or CB using current system of absorption costing? Okay, uh, the first one. So this is absorption costing. Then 58 requires you to do what? Match each steps in ABC to the order correct in which they should be carried out. Okay. Then we have, what is the total activity based allocation of overheads for the production of CB? Okay, what is the total activity based allocation of quality control overheads for production of TJ? Now in this question there is a small error that I just want to rectify, because this will create a confusion, because it's a kit question, so that's why there is a small error. It's production cost. Okay, production cost. Okay, now moving towards the next one. The last one is relates to an advantage of ABC. Okay, now let's go back, and it's complete ABC based question. Let's read the scenario. The data that is given in the scenario is in form of paragraphs. So this sometimes get tricky to find out the uh, data and the numbers. Okay, so good reading is important. Okay, now before I move, let me take few questions if there are any. Sayyid Shahid Ali is saying, please explain the difference between cost pool and just one cost. Okay, just okay. Don't worry, Sayyid Shahid, I will once we start the question. Okay. The company publishes a children book. It's a children book. Okay. Which is sold in large quantities to government controlled schools. The book is produced in 4 production runs. The second book is a comprehensive technical journal, that is known as TJ. It is produced in monthly production runs 12 times a year. Okay. The directors are concerned about the performance of the two books and are wondering what impact would be of a switch to activity based costing approach to accounting for overheads. Okay, that's fine. They are currently using absorption costing. So it's important to note that they are currently using absorption costing. This is the current technique that they are using based on number of books produced for all overhead calculation. Now, this is also important to note it down. Number of books produced. Now, you can figure out this cost, I would say the activity level that they are currently using. Yes, please, can you figure out the current activity level that they are using absorption costing. So if anyone can tell me, yeah, it's number of books produced. Yeah, it's number of books produced, but how can you pronounce this as? So this will be said as number of units, number of units. So the current basis is number of units. Okay. Just a small wait, just a small wait, please. Just wait for a few minutes. Okay. So number of units. So this is basically number of units based cost driver, or I would say activity level. So they are absorbing on the basis of number of books right now. Overhead amounts to 2880. Then I think this is all sufficient for the first question that we are planning to solve, 57. This all relates to 57. So I think let's begin with 57 first. It says, what is the overhead cost per unit of CB using current system of absorption costing? So to make it easy for you, let me write the key questions that I asked you. That I want you people to ask yourself is the technique, to look at the technique first, and then to look at the products, okay, or services, to look at whether we need to work out answer per unit, okay, or total units, right? And the last is we need to give answer for total cost or overheads, right? So now let's read the question, and you people tell me if it will be really nice if you start typing on your own now, okay? So what is the overhead cost per unit of CB using current system absorption costing? Can you tell me the technique? So the technique, that is simple absorption costing, right? Okay. Now, a product, which product we are targeting? CB. Okay, CB. Okay. Third, whether we want answer per unit or for total number of units. So it's very clearly mentioned we need answer per unit, right? Okay. And the last thing is we need answer for total cost or overheads. So the answer is overheads. See, my four questions, you can easily see in any question of ABC, you will realize that my four questions are hidden in those requirements. Okay, it's a unique thing, right? So the first question, the second question, the third question, and the fourth question, and by this, what will you achieve? By this, you are able to split the requirements into four areas, and your confusion is completely gone. You will exactly know what you have to do. Now, this technique will be very much beneficial once I move towards activity-based costing. Okay, so I hope you are getting my point. Now, let's begin with the solution, friends. How to work out the answer. So it's pretty much simple. Let's do the calculations. So we need overhead cost per unit, and for that we need OAR. So the formula is budgeted overheads. Okay, the formula is budgeted overheads. Okay, divided by budgeted activity level, and the activity level that they currently are using is basically number of units, right? So this means you need to work out number of units you don't have. For that, I need to read information. This is the last paragraph which I need to read. So let's read. Zola Publishing will produce its annual output of 1 million CBs, okay, in 4 production runs and approximately 10,000 10,000 TJs per month in each of the 12 production runs. So now this is important information for me because this will give me the idea that I need to work out the number of units. Okay, so let's now work out the number of units. Let's see how to do the calculation here. For CB, the units are pretty much clear. It's 1 million and it's annual output, right? Plus uh, the TJ units are 10,000 per month. And to make this annual, because annual is important here, overheads are also annual, right? So if overheads are annual, the activity level will be annual. The numerator is annual, so the denominator should be annual, right? So it's 10,000 multiplied by 12, and that is 1,20,000, right? So this is 1,20,000. And now let's do a quick math here. So it's 1 million plus 120,000, which will give you 1,120,000 as your answer. And let's work out the OAR. Okay, so the answer is 2.57. No policy given. If you are getting answered in decimals, no policy given. Usually that doesn't happens, but in that case you can take maximum to 2 decimal places, one decimal, 2 decimal maximum. But that doesn't usually happen in the paper. So let's keep this to 2 decimal places, and this is 2.57. Now, what is 2.57? Because your basis here was number of units, okay, the basis was number of units, which means the answer that you are getting for the OAR is also per unit base, right? So it's 2.57 per unit. 2.57 per unit is the answer that you are getting here. Okay. Now the question that I need to ask you people very quickly is this enough, or we need to move ahead as well? So is this the answer? Yes, this is the answer, because we were required to figure out the answer in per unit terms, right? This is per unit, and we are getting the answer per unit directly here. So this is the answer, and we don't have to do anything else because this is already per unit that we are getting, because the OAR, the basis of absorption that they are using, is basically per unit base. Okay, so that is why we will be using 2.57, and this is the answer. Okay, so we are done with this one. No issues, everyone. So this was the first one that we did solve, and now let's move towards the next requirement and see what is being asked. So 58 question says Jola Publishing has decided to adopt ABC, right? ABC. Management has put together a list of steps, match each of the steps in ABC to the correct order in which they should be carried out, right? So friends, let's do match the following, something that you used to do when you were kids. Still you are kids, but anyways, you're still grown up. So let's just figure out the right sequence. The statements are: calculate overhead cost per unit of CB and TJ, and I want your answers if you can quickly manage, and somebody or few of them or all of them may write here in the chat box. Calculate overhead cost per unit of CB and TJ. Calculate absorption rate for each cost driver. Determine what causes the cost of each activity, the cost driver. Major activities within each department. Identify major activity within each department which creates cost. Create a cost pool for each activity, the activity cost pool. Okay, now, so the steps that I told you, the mnemonic I told you was 2C, 2A, right? And these were 4 points, but we are seeing one additional here as well. So that is not a matter. You just have to determine that one additional is something that will come before 2C, 2A, or it will come after 2C, 2A. It cannot be between that. Okay. So let's now begin and let's figure out the first step, uh, which actually is not part of 2C 2A, but we can figure out that. So that is which one? That is very simple. Identify major activities within each department. Okay. So this basically is your first step, right? Because you break overheads into major activities, you determine the departments where overhead is being arised. So this is the first one. Then after that, it's all 2C 2A that we have covered. See, so the second is cost pool, as you can see here, cost pool. Okay. The third is for respective cost pool, we determine cost drivers. So this is cost driver. This is the third one. Okay. And the fourth is calculate the absorption rate for each one. So this is the fourth one, right? And the last one is obviously calculate the overhead cost. Okay. And for both product CB and TJ. So you can see the steps here. It's quite simple. It's all 2C, 2A that we have covered: cost pool, cost driver, absorption rate, and absorb the overheads into product cost. But there was one more additional beyond before this, and that was the identification of major activities into each department, within each department. Okay. So, so I hope this is not at all difficult, and that is quite easy. So these are the easy ones that will came those will took less time, and the one those will took more time, and you need to compensate each other. And like this, you have to complete the OT case study in 18 minutes. Okay. Now, question number 59. Let's read the requirement, and now those four things again. Okay, ready for it? The overheads involved have been analyzed as follows. So the overhead of 2880,000, sorry, 2800,000. Now this was the figure that we actually used for absorption costing. So you can see a breakup. So remember, it's activity-based costing that breaks the overheads. It's activity-based costing that breaks the overheads into cost pools. Okay. So there are three cost pools, one known as production cost, second known as quality control, third known as production setup cost, right? And you can see the respective cost drivers of these as well. The first one, the cost driver is machine hours, second number of inspections, third number of setups. Okay. Now, this is basically your cost driver. You can even call this as cost driver, and this is basically your cost pool. So you can call this as activities. Now, sometimes in question in the paper, there is a possibility that you need to determine the right cost driver for the cost pool. Now, this is very important. Sometimes what happens is that there is a situation in the paper where it is not clearly defined the respective cost driver for the cost pool. So cost driver is what? So I just want to just give you a quick suggestion. Cost driver is basically the reason because of which overhead cost will arise. So just remember a quick word, reason. It's the reason because of which overhead cost will arise, right? So that is genuinely a cost driver. Okay. So this is how you can figure out. For example, if I say that, for example, number of inspections. So the more the inspections, okay, the more will be the inspection cost, right? Or the quality control cost. So cost number of inspection is the reason because of which the cost is being arised. So this is cost driver. Anyways, now let's read the requirement. What is the total activity based allocation of production cost for production of CB? So come on guys, four questions I'm asking you again. Are you ready? Will you answer me? First of all, tell me the the technique that you have to use. So the technique is activity based costing. Okay, product is CB. See how it is making simple, CB, right? Third is whether you need to work out answer per unit or total. Okay, per unit or total. So this is the question. So the answer that you need to work out is total, not per unit, right? That's also nice. Now the last question is very interesting one. You need to find out the answer for total cost. Okay. Uh, Total here means the units, right? Units. Okay. Total units. Okay. Now, so the final question is you need to work out the answer for total cost or the overheads. Now let's see what answer you people are writing here. Uh, right now, I can see only one thing, and that is majority are filled with the word total cost, which is not the case here because by by understanding this, so it says production cost you need to work out, right? Production cost, and you can easily match here that production cost means this cost pool they are talking about right now. So it's the production cost pool. Okay, it's the production cost pool they are talking about, which means that you need to work out answer not for the total cost but for the overheads. And now not just overheads, just one cost pool of the overheads, just one cost pool of the overheads. Okay, not the entire overhead. So you need to work out the answer for just one cost pool of the overheads, right? So the four questions, number one, technique ABC, product is CB, whether we need to work out answer for one unit or for the total number of units. So it's clear that we need to work out the answer for total number of units. And the last question was whether we need to work out the answer that is your total cost. That includes material, labor, overheads, or just the overheads. So it's just the overheads, because don't get confused by the word production here in this question especially, because normally one say okay production costs, you might think about direct material, labor, and the overheads. You are correct. Okay, but right now by the same word you have a cost pool which is mentioned here. So here I would now give benefit of the doubt and would say that because it says production cost and I have a cost pool there as well with the same name, so in that case I will give the benefit of doubt to this and I will just work out the overhead for one cost pool, and that is production cost, because the word of cost pool is production cost. So that's why I'm giving this the benefit of doubt. Otherwise, your concepts were looking really good because most of them answered me. Okay. हमजा की वहाँ वीडियो चल गई है. जाओ जाओ बाहर निकलो एनी डेस्क से. असन डोसानी कहाँ से आना? तुमने पापा वहां पे तुमने एनी डेस्क खोला हुआ होगा. मुझे क्या पता. चुप. बटन. Okay, so sorry for the disturbance, friends. Now, uh, right. So you can see here, it's the production cost. Right now, the word production cost is creating a problem, and you can see the same cost pool by this name. Okay, you can see the same cost pool by this name. So that is why the answer will be for overheads, and for overheads still not for the entire overhead, just one cost pool, and that is production cost. Okay, so I hope this is clear now. Now let's begin. I just left certain information above that I should read now, and this is this information. So let's read this information. The CB will be inspected on 180 occasions next year. Okay, whereas TJ will be inspected just 20 times, right? Machine time per unit is 6 for CB and 10 minutes for TJ, right? So let's now move on, because I know that the machine hours are basically the cost driver for this cost pool, which is known as your production cost, right? So this is the cost driver for this cost pool, and my workings will be like this. So I'm doing the calculation of this question here because I don't have space. So the cost pool is production cost, okay, divided by cost driver is machine hours, right? So do you have machine hours total? No, you have machine hours given here, but those are per unit. So you need to convert these into total machine hours, right? So how will we convert this into total machine hours? It's simple. We have CB, we have TJ, and the question has stated above that the CB requires 6 minutes, okay, and TJ requires 10 minutes. So 10 minutes and 6 minutes are basically for 1 unit, right? So 6 minutes will be converted into hours. So I'll divide this with 60, and the division 6 divided by 60 will convert this into hours, right? For TJ, 10 divided by 60, right? So this is what I've done. I've converted this into hours, and now I'll multiply with the number of units. I've already worked out the number of units above, and those are this is already given 1 million for CB and 120,000 units for TJ, right? So I just need to multiply this with 1 million and this with 120,000. So here we are. You can see the calculation of machine hours that I've done here. And once you add these two, you get the total machine hours. So let's have a look. How many hours are we getting in this case? So 6 divided by 60. I'm sure people are also working with me here. And the answer you already have worked out. So it's 120,000 total machine hours. Okay, 120,000 total machine hours. I hope this is clear. Production cost pool and cost driver is machine hours. So the figure is 2160 divided with the machine hours of 120,000. You are getting OAR. So let's work out the answer as well. It's 18 per hour. Now, are we done with this answer? Is this your answer, 18? Or we need to actually absorb the overheads into CB? So this is not the answer. We need to absorb this as well, right? So what I'll do here is I'll multiply this with the number of hours required to produce CB. Now here, the thing should be very much clear, because the question requires you to work out the answer in terms of total, okay, which is mentioned here. You need to work out the answer in terms of total. Total here means total number of units, okay? So as it says total, which means that you will not work out per unit. Instead, you will work out for all the number of units. And this means that what you're going to do is you will multiply with the total machine hours you have here for the CB. So how many are the machine hours? We have already done the working. It's 100,000 machine hours, right? So 100,000 machine hours, let's multiply. So the answer that I'm getting here is 1.8 million as my answer of overheads for all the units of CB. Okay, for all the units of CB. So this is the answer that I am getting here, right? I hope this is clear to all of you and no problem at all. Any questions, anyone? It's good, simple. And what do you think by breaking the question according to $1,000,000 points? So is it easy? Okay, how did we get 60? 60 is where? Say, oh, 60 is minutes, no? It was 6 minutes, right? So I had to convert this into hours. So 6 divided by 60 will convert this into hours because I'm sure you know that these days 1 minute includes 60 seconds and 1 hour includes 60 minutes, right? Okay. Okay, from where did we got 120,000 for TJ? From where yeah, you're talking about this 120,000. So it's very simple. You can see I've done the calculation above. Here is the calculation of units, 120,000 units, 10,000 per month into 12 months. Okay. And Waqas says, and there are 1 million, not, I'm not getting your point. It's 1 million, Waqas. I'm not sure what you're saying here. The rate is not 1.8. The rate is 18, my friend. It's 18, not 1.8. Okay, you have just used zero less here. That's why you are getting the answer. It's 18 per hour, right? Okay, the rate is 18 per hour, not 1.8. Okay, clear? Yeah, through the ratio directly, Fazil, you can easily find out the answer through the ratio as well. No issues. It's completely fine to work out the answer through the ratios, right? So we are done with this one, and the answer is 1.8 million. I'm sure no issues. Okay. Now the second one is another question that requires you to work out the answer, and let's see what answer we are getting here in the second one as well. What is the total activity-based allocation of quality control overheads for the production of TJ? Okay, TJ. Okay, now because this is a CB paper and this is a complete stepwise approach I did in front of you. So do you want me to tell you a shortcut here to work out the entire thing quickly? Yes, guys. Do you want me to tell you a shortcut? How will that be if I tell you the shortcut? That will save a lot of time, and you need to give credit to me then, will you? Okay, so let me tell you a shortcut here because I think I should tell you shortcuts that will save your time in CV. The same answer, I'll just use a different color here. The same answer that you just got here, I can get the same answer through a very quick shortcut and same results with very less calculation. I'm sure you will like my shortcut. Okay, so let's work out. Now let's assume that we haven't done the working of OAR. Okay, we haven't multiplied this, and let's assume we don't know the answer. Okay, let's assume this. So how will you work out the same answer quickly? So that is very simple. The only thing that you should know is the amount of cost pool, that is 2160. Okay, and know the basis of that, and the basis is machine hours, right? Now what I can do is I can work out the ratio here. You can see here the machine hours for CBs are 100,000, whereas the machine hours for TJ is 20,000, right? 20,000 for TJ and 100,000 for CB, and that makes a total of 120,000 hours, right? So I can quickly do one thing is that I can work out the ratio, and the ratio is as I need answer for CB, so I'll say 100,000 hours are of CB out of 120,000 hours, right? 100,000 hours are for CB out of 120,000 hours multiplied by the cost pool. So 2160,000, and I'm sure you're getting the same figure. So what I've done here is that I just worked out the ratio here. And the ratio means what? If the total machine hours are 120,000, so how much hours, how much proportion, okay? How much proportion is of CB, right? How much proportion is of CB. So if you can quickly work out the ratio like this, out of 120,000, 100,000 are for CB. So 100,000 divided by 120,000 and multiply with this figure, and you get the same answer. Okay, so did you understood, my friends? Was it easy? See, saved lot of time. What do you think? Okay. Now, even if it requires you to work out the answer per unit, so you can even use in that case, you just need to divide this with the number of units then to make this per unit, okay? So it is also used in that case as well, but it will save your time. This is an examination technique I want to give you, and my struggle to make PM easy continues in front of you, okay? So guys, understood? Happy by the shortcut? Okay. Now, the only concern I have, please, last thing, the only concern I have that this shortcut should not be used in a situation where examiner has mentioned that working to two decimal places or three decimal places. When the question mentions that you have to perform your workings, you know, the internal workings that we are doing, as this was a working that we did, right? As this was a working that we did. So when the question requires you that your workings should be rounded off to one decimal or two decimal places, that is a situation where I will not recommend you to use the shortcut, because the mindset of the examiner is what, that you have first worked out the OAR, then you have absorbed the overheads, and like this you have gone through the steps. So that is why the examiner then will round off the workings of OAR to do decimal places, right? So that is a situation where I am afraid that you should not use this method, because in this shortcut you are directly doing the answer and you're not taking consideration of the decimals. So just caution is what, when the question states working to two decimal places, in that case please don't use the shortcut, because then the answer would be a bit different, and for OTs if it's different by 0.1 as well, so that will be wrong. Okay, so in that case you just need to consider the usual normal method, right? Okay. So I hope you are getting the point. No, I'm not saying, Marwa, final answer. Now, there are two things that I've seen in the paper. One is workings to two decimal places, Marwa, and second is final answer to two decimal places. Both are separate things. Please, this is the complexity at F5 level that students don't know, okay, because they are new to this paper. So one is working to two decimal places, and one is the final answer to two decimal places. If if it says final answer to two decimal places, that is okay, I can use this method. But when it says working to two decimal places, I cannot, because in that case my working should be rounded off to two decimal places. And these are small things that one should know, because you are losing 2 marks very easily, doing everything right, done the entire hard work, but you are losing these 2 marks. And if you're doing this for 10 questions, this means that you will exactly be losing 20 marks. Okay, and this is the trick examiner wants you to learn, right? Yeah, so if Ali, it's Ali just used the very good word of process. So it says working to two decimal place. This means all entire process should be rounded off to two decimal places. Yeah, not the last number. Exactly, Ali. You are on the point. And if says if final answer to two decimal place, then just the final answer. Okay. So thank you very much, Ali. What a good word you use, process, right? Fawad, I just mentioned here, if the question says workings to two decimal place, then the entire calculation process should be rounded off to two decimal places, including the final answer. And if it says the final answer, okay, if it says final answer to two decimal, then just the final answer. And in that, you can use the shortcut method. Anyways, this was important, so I just spent few minutes on this. Now, what is the total activity-based allocation of quality control overheads for production of TJ? Quickly, my friends, I like your interaction today. Tell me the technique. So the technique is activity-based costing that you have to use here. Okay, activity-based costing. Okay, the product we are talking about, product is TJ. Okay, product is TJ, right? Now, technique is activity-based costing, product is TJ. The answer should be per unit or total. Per unit or total means per unit answer or total units answer. Okay, so it's total units or per unit answer. So because it says total, so this means it's total units answer. Okay, it's total units answer. Right, perfect. The last is you need to work out the answer for overheads or total cost. Overheads or total cost. Okay, so it's overheads and overheads as well, the entire overheads or just the quality control overheads. So you can easily see here that it's just the quality control overheads. Just quality control overheads, which means just one cost pool. See, my technique will split up the things in the paper and less mistakes will be done, right? So the quality control cost pool is what is important. Now, I'll do this answer very quickly through a shortcut and the long method, both for you people. So it's quality, cost driver, it's number of inspections, right? Yeah, okay. So let's work out OAR. So what is the figure of quality control? It's 668,000, okay? 668,000 divided with the number of inspections. So yes, let's move here. Number of inspections. So I have a very good information here that I want to bring in front of you people through a different color. So you can see here, CB will be inspected 180 occasions, right? Whereas TJ will be inspected just 20 times. So this is the detail of number of inspections given here. So 180 for CB and 20 for TJ. So that makes altogether how much? That makes altogether 180 plus 20 makes 200, right? So let's see what is the answer. 668,000 divided by 120, and you are getting answer of 3340. This is 3340 per inspection. Okay, now you need answer for TJ, right? So let's multiply this with TJ inspections only. So TJ inspections are 20. So it's 3340 into 20, 66,800. Okay, 66,800 is the answer for you people using 2C, 2A. Friends, what's your feedback? Is the shortcut applicable in this case? Can you work out this very quickly without this long method? Yeah, what's your feedback on this? Yes, people are saying that you can use. So let's have a quick look. Let's use the shortcut, right? And then we are all set to move on. Shortcut. Okay. The shortcut is I have total inspections data. So TJ 20 divided by 200. So it's 10% ratio. Okay, 10%. So out of the total inspection, 10% inspection relates to TJ. So let's charge TJ with 10% cost as well. So 668,000, 10% is 66,800. Easy, guys. Is the shortcut working? Yes or no? So not only the shortcut is good, but the $1,000,000 steps are also good. The way I just, showed you the things by splitting into different uh, areas. So one question has been split into 4 areas through $1,000,000. So guys, understood. I hope my small technique and my small experience in this area would have really helped you to cope up with the complexity of ABC questions as far as the calculations are concerned, and you are very much clear how to perform the calculations now. So what's your feedback? Happy, everyone? Any questions? Uh, why we did not absorb our OR into CB? Question 57. Okay. Because question 57 required us to, oh, because it was absorption costing. Fatma, it was absorption costing. And in absorption costing, the base was number of units. So automatically you got the answer of per unit. Okay, this is the difference you need to understand, right? In 57, it was absorption costing and the basis was number of units. So automatically you are getting answer per unit. Whether it's CB, whether it's TJ, you will absorb 2.57 in both the products because the basis itself is number of units. So that is why you are getting the answer per unit. Okay. Examiner definitely mentions. Now this is not an exam question. It is an exam question, but this has been amended by the publishers. Okay, so a proper exam question will mention the rounding of policy. Don't worry. So having said that, now it's time to quickly have a grip on the drawbacks for the theory purpose, and I'll give you small gift here, the shortcut gifts. Okay. Uh, so why we did not multiply with 120,000 as it asked for total? Okay, this is a good question. This is a good question. I think I should address this question from Christy. Why didn't we multiply this with 120,000? Now, automatically we got the total answer. And you know why I'm saying this is because the 20 inspections of TJ are basically the inspections for all the number of units of TJ. You can see here, the CB will be inspected on 180 occasions next year, and TJ 20 times. This is for all the units, okay? This is for all the units. So that is why the activity level was for all the number of units. So we didn't had to multiply then with the units again because the activity level was itself for all number of units. Okay, Christy? So we didn't have to do it. I'm sure you're getting the point. So the activity level was given to you in terms of total units of CB and TJ. So I can make it short. TJ 20,000, TJ 120,000 units annual requires 20 inspections, whereas TJ 1 million units requires 180 inspections total. So the inspections were itself in total number of units, right? These were not per unit. If these would have been per unit, so the examiner would have mentioned like this, it was mentioned for machine per unit. I hope I've answered your question. Now, advantages. First of all, ABC leads to fair allocation of overheads. That's fine. ABC provides a good chance to control the cost. That is also correct. Useful in machine-based environment where overheads are significant. Yeah, that's also correct. I'll give you a quick explanation here. It covers all overheads, not just production overheads. Now, now there are four things that I've highlighted here. So first of all, I just want to make a shortcut mnemonic for you. So F fair, M machine, C control, A all overheads. Okay. So the shortcut is FMCA. Come on, just write it down very quickly. What is the shortcut of ABC costing advantages? What is the mnemonic? FMCA. Yeah, FMCA, right? In Pakistan, we have our radio. So Pakistani students can easily remember this FM. Normally we say FM 100, FM 101, FM 106, right? In Pakistan, it's of the frequency name of the radio. So FM, right? And CA is chartered accountant, right? So CA is chartered accountant. We know CA is chartered accountant. So FMCA is the mnemonic for the advantages of activity-based costing. Right? So now I hope this is getting easier. Now the first point is that ABC results in fair allocation of overheads. That's true because ABC absorbs the overheads on the basis of cost pools and respective cost drivers. You just saw that ABC looks for the connections. As you know that number of inspections was used for quality cost. That is a very clear connection. So because it uses good connections, because it finds out the real activity level or cost drivers, so it results in fair allocation. Second, by breaking the overheads into cost pool and cost driver, ABC good provides you a good opportunity to control the overheads. A quick example here. If you reduce number of inspections, assuming your quality is not compromised, so if you reduce number of inspections, so because number of inspections is the reason for getting the quality cost overheads, so if number of inspections goes down, okay, and the quality cost will also go down, but again I said quality should not be compromised, right? Then the current environment is machine-based environment. And remember, whenever it's a machine-based environment, so overheads are significant in machine-based environment because your indirect material that machine uses, indirect labor, the supervisors of the machine, okay, and the indirect expenses like rent, electricity, not rent specifically, electricity. So these are all indirect cost because of the machine intensive environment. So because if the environment is machine intensive, like today's modern world where you produce cell phones, you produce cars, and majority of the production has now shifted towards machine, so the overheads have become significant. And if overheads have become significant, you need a good technique like ABC costing. Last, it covers all the overheads, okay, not just production overheads. So ABC costing uses both cost pools, cost drivers, that is production cost drivers, and as well as non-production cost drivers. So it covers all kind of overheads. Whereas if you can just recall absorption costing technique, inventory valuation, if you can recall what you used to do in F2 paper, so you have learned that in absorption costing, we just absorb the production overheads when we are calculating the value of an inventory. So we don't consider the non-production overheads. So it covers all the overheads. So it's FMCA. Now, coming towards the drawbacks, the first drawback is identification of cost pool and cost drivers. Number two, finding a realistic relationship. Okay. Number three, word is beneficial, not be beneficial. And fourth is accounting records. And fifth is costs may exceed benefits. So another mnemonic coming up here. It's okay. So if you say in English style, so I would say buy car. Okay, buy car, buy car. Okay, it's buy car, right? And if you say in Pakistani style, so we can say bekar, right? People who are Pakistani can easily figure out bekar what I'm trying to say. So it's baikar for English people and bekar for Pakistani people, right? So the disadvantages, now what disadvantages is, first, let's start with the mnemonic word beneficial. So ABC costing is not beneficial. Okay, it's not beneficial when overheads are related to production level. So try to just listen very quickly. If overheads are related to production level, okay, if overheads are related to production level, so then there's no use using ABC costing, because absorption costing is better, because absorption costing uses the bases which are more production based, like direct hours, like machine hours, like number of units. These are the very common basis of absorption costing, and all these are production related. So when overheads are very much connected directly to the production, so it's beneficial to use absorption, because the basis absorption costing use is all production based. Okay, or overheads are small in proportion, which means overheads are not very significant. So yeah, if overheads are not significant in a company, so then it's not worthwhile to use ABC costing, because ABC is expensive. Okay, so if overheads are not significant, using of ABC is not very much beneficial, because ABC is expensive, and I will show you why right now. So the word beneficial is clear. Identification, yeah, this is basically time consuming. You need to identify the cost pools and cost drivers, so it is time consuming for the business. So this is a simple drawback. Then we have word C here. Costs may exceed benefits. Possibility. May. The word may is written. Possibility. And the major reason for that is it requires detailed accounting records, right? It's the A. Detailed accounting records are required, and you know why? Because in ABC costing, you need to break overheads into cost pools and cost drivers. So because of such break, you need sophisticated information system to handle such big amount of overheads, bifurcate that into cost pool and cost drivers, and this all require a sophisticated IT system, which people needs to be trained about, and they need to use it. So yeah, the cost may exceed the benefit. Okay, but it's not a surety. So this is a possibility. So accounting records, detail required. And the last is a realistic relationship between cost pool and cost driver is needed in ABC. ABC believes in realistic relationship, but if sometimes ABC cannot find that realistic relationship, so in that case, ABC then has no other option to do the same thing that absorption does, because absorption doesn't care about the cost pool and cost drivers and just absorbs on an artificial basis. Okay, so if sometimes ABC doesn't find that link, so ABC will not be able to absorb it properly. So this is the disadvantages here. I hope you can remember the mnemonics. It's FMCA and it's Bekar, or sorry, Baikar in terms of English. Let's quickly jump towards the last area. Quickly, just figure out the answer, friends. If Jola Publishing decides to introduce an ABC costing system, which one is an advantage of ABC that can expect to benefit from? Come on, guys. FMCA. Okay, in paper you have the mnemonic with you. A small gift from Rizwan Mania. Don't forget my gift. Okay, so let's read. Reduction in overhead cost. Okay, reduction in overhead cost, cost savings compared to absorption, simplification of costing process, more accurate cost per unit. Yeah. So can you tell me the answer? So the answer is simple D. Okay, it's D, more accurate cost per unit. As you know, it results in fair allocation of overheads. So it's F of FMCA. Fair allocation means accurate cost per unit. Okay. So guys, what's your feedback? The way I just dealt this topic today, along with theory, calculation, techniques, $1,000,000 things. So I'm sure the experience, you can benefit from this experience, right? Is it useful? Okay. Okay, thank you very much for your kind words. Let's begin with topic number 2 for today, and that is target costing. Now, let's make target also easy for you, the way I just made ABC easy for you. So let's make target easy for you. Now, target costing is a technique which is basically, remember, used when the product is in its development phase. Okay, so when the product is in its development phase, you use target costing in that case, right? When I say development phase, so it's very clear that you haven't started producing the product. Okay, producing the product, it's in the development phase where all the planning work is being done, right? So this is used in development phase, and the main use of target costing is what? It's done for cost reduction purpose. Okay, it's done for cost reduction purpose. Now listen very carefully. What I'm telling you here is, if you need to learn target costing in a quick way, so my 14 years experience says that if you need to learn the basic definition of target costing, just learn two words. Just learn two words and you will be able to keep things in your focus. So the two words are, target costing is what? Used in development phase. And what is the purpose? It's cost reduction. Okay. So now come on, quickly say, if I say target costing, what two things should come in your mind? I also, this is how I teach my regular students in the class. So if I ask them target costing, so what two things should come in your mind? Can you tell me? Two things that should come in your mind is what? Development phase and cost reduction. Exactly. Okay. Now, target costing steps, I'm sure you are familiar with these as well before, and I'll just make a mnemonic here to make it easy for you. First is the market price. Okay, so you need to determine the market price, and let me change the color of my pen so that it's visible. Yeah, it's visible now. Market price, the first thing. Desired profit is what you determine the next, right? You work out the target cost, the formula of which is estimated selling price and desired profit, right? Then current estimated cost. Okay, and the last is cost gap, and the last is cost gap. Okay, so as you can see here, there are 5 points. So do you want me to tell you a good shortcut so that you can learn this easily? Let me see how many yes coming here. On the basis of more yes, I'll tell you a shortcut, because it's my you know, it's my hard work. Yeah, so many years. Yeah, so let's now look at the shortcut. So it's M D T C square. Okay, it's MDTC square, and this is the shortcut you can learn for your sequence, for your questions that are step based. So the first M is what, guys? M stands for market price. D stands for desired profit. Okay, T stands for target cost. Okay, the first C stands for current estimated cost, and the last C stands for cost gap. Okay, so a quick math if I do here. For example, the market price that we found out through the market survey was $20. We want to keep the desired profit of 2. So the cost that is coming here is $18. Now this is the target cost, which means this is the cost that we should achieve. Okay, should achieve the cost of $18. Now we did our own calculations and we found out that our current estimated cost right now is $19. Okay, this is our current estimated cost, which means if I start producing the product right now, my current cost will be $19, right? It will be $19. So the cost right now is $19, whereas I need to bring this cost to $18. Are you getting the point? So my current cost is $19 and I need to bring this cost to $18. So the difference of $19 and the difference of $18 and 19 is $1, and this is known as your cost gap. Okay, this is your cost gap. So I hope this is clear and you are very clearly able to understand here that according to this target costing, this entire MDTC square you do in the development phase. Okay, so once you do this in the development phase, you find out, you find a market price, and then you figure out the profit that you want to earn, and then you work out the target. The word target is making this clear. You want to work out the target cost. This is the cost that should be, and you compare that with the current estimated cost, which means the cost that you will incur if you start producing it right now, and you work out the difference. So that is cost gap. So the cost gap determination has been done at the development phase. Okay, now once you have figured out the cost gap, then you think how to close this cost gap. Okay, how to close this cost gap. So you look at the ways, like for example, using cheaper material without affecting quality. Now this is a big condition, quality. Okay, so you can't affect the quality, so go for cheaper material without affecting the quality. Second, go for cheaper labor without compromising on the quality. Okay, so you have to reduce the labor cost without compromising on quality again. And here I want to tell you one more thing. Here you can relate this with learning curve in the paper. Okay, learning curve is one area that can be connected with this one. You know why? Because learning curve relates to labor. Okay, so whenever you see labor cost coming in any question of your exam, learning curve can easily be connected to any question. Maybe it's variances, maybe it's ABC costing, maybe it's whatever you name it, because everywhere you see labor cost, right? So through learning curve, you can connect this as well, because of the training and the experience that the labor gets, the better their learning gets, and the better their learning, so the cost and the hours reduces, and once hours goes down, so the cost also goes down. Okay, so yeah, then you can use ABC. We have just covered right now. By using ABC, we can reduce the overheads. Okay, plus we can move from labor to machine intensive environment, right? Now why is this a good option? So before you ask anything and get confused, from labor to machine, it means that very simple, that when you move from labor to machine, so labor intensive means more losses, more wastages. Okay, But when you shift to machine, so it means due to machine, less losses, less wastages, and machine efficiency is something that labor cannot challenge that, which means better efficiency you get from machine, right? So if you switch from labor to machine, you get better efficiency. And because of this better efficiency, reduction of wastage, your cost goes down, and this helps you to reduce your current estimated cost to target cost. Okay. Now, one very common question people tell me, people ask me is that, so what about the machine intensive environment cost of the machines and all? That is also a cost. So in return, I say that it's your asset, and all asset is something that you recognize in your balance sheet as your investment. Okay. So we are talking about the operational, day-to-day operational cost cutting here, and that you will achieve very, very easily. Okay, so this is clear. I hope it's not difficult. Now, then we have economies of scale. What economies of scale means, I'm sure you know this. Economies of scale means that when you increase your production, okay, the more units you start producing it, so your cost per unit goes down. Maybe you are making bulk purchase of material, so that bulk purchase reduces your material cost. So the production increase helps you to reduce the cost, right? Another example for this could be your fixed cost. As you increase the number of units, your fixed cost doesn't change, okay? Your fixed cost remains constant, so your cost per unit also goes down, right? So economies of scale. Last is value analysis. Another word that is normally used for this value analysis, just noted down, is value engineering. Okay, value engineering. So what value engineering means, or value analysis means, it means that the focus should be on value adding features of the product. Okay, and we should eliminate non-value adding features. Okay, so we should eliminate non-value adding, and the focus should be on value adding features. A quick example, for example, you make cell phones, right? So if you make cell phones, so do you think, have you ever bought a cell phone by looking at the box of the cell phone? Now, what you look when you buy cell phones? Do you look at the features of the cell phone or the box? You say, no, I want a very good, pretty box. Is this what your requirement is? No, you don't look at the box. Okay. So this means box is non-value adding activity. Okay. The box itself is a non-value adding activity. Is that true, everyone? Yeah, this is true. So box is non-value adding activity, and box will not attract you completely. So this means organization or the mobile manufacturers has the opportunity to go for a cheaper box. And if they go for a cheaper box, so they can save their packing cost, they can save their packaging cost. Okay, because the box doesn't matter to the customers. So this is value analysis. I hope my explanation is clear, simple, and it is making much more sense. One question I just saw here about why ABC can reduce overheads. So I can quickly relate this point with the point that we just covered few minutes before. And here it is. You can see ABC is able to reduce the overheads as you reduce the activity levels, so your cost goes down. See what a brilliant connection between ABC and target costing, right? So clear, guys? My slides are easy to understand. That's why I mentioned earlier, day one, that you should cover everything from my slides. That will save your time. It's kind of a 1 or a 2 page slides that will help you to just remember the things before the paper. Just, recall things through the slide as well. I'll share the plan at the end of the session today. Economies of scale means that once you increase the production, your cost goes down. Okay, so your cost goes down. Like I said, when you increase production, you go for a bulk purchase, and bulk purchase means you get the discount on bulk, and that reduces your cost. And ultimately, once your cost goes down, so you're able to reduce the cost gap. Okay. So I hope this is clear to everyone. A quick overview of target costing done, right? Happy, guys? Okay. So now we will be moving towards another question of section B. But before that, it's time for break. It's 5:30 here. So we'll see you at 5:40 and break time. Enjoy. I don't know how to make a face, but yeah, it's good. See you. So welcome back after the break, everyone. Are you ready? Hello. Welcome back. So let's begin with a very good question and another OT for today. It's the second one. So let's begin with the second question. Company, and we'll try to make this again easy for my friends, the students preparing in exam. My best wishes of the people, whatever support you need, I'll be available right after today as well. Just send me a quick WhatsApp message if you haven't uh, messaged me yet. If you're not part of the group, so make sure you are part of it. Is my voice okay now? Is it okay? Not clear? Just wait, please. Fine. Now it's okay? Yeah. It's okay. Okay. Let's begin. Can company is a question that we're starting. Let's read what it says. Requirements quickly. What is the target cost for the new webcam? 2 marks. What is the direct material cost per unit in light of the new information in point 1? Okay. What is the average direct labor cost per unit in the light of new information in point 2? And then you have other following statements about target costing true or false, plus which of the following in the drop list represents a possible method for closing the target cost gap. Okay. Is it still not clear, the voice? Please confirm quickly. Is it still not clear? It's not clear. Okay, just wait. We will try to fix this out. Let's continue and we'll try to fix this out. So let's begin. Now it's completely a target costing question. Good question. Let's solve this question. This is of exam, obviously. So let's start. Can company manufacture webcams, devices which can produce live video and audio streams via personal computers? It has recently been suffering from liquidity problems and hopes that these will be eased by the launch of its new webcam, which has a revolutionary audio and video quality. Okay. Yeah, we are fixing the background noise, no issue. We are fixing on the background noise. We just read things, try to accommodate, we'll just fix this up. So my voice is not clear at all. Okay. Okay. Just wait, please. Then just wait. It's not clear. It's the background noise. So just wait. Is it better now? Is it better? Is it better? Yes, please. Can you confirm? Is the sound better now? Not. Previously, before the break, it was all clear, right? After the break, you can see the difference. Yeah. But again, getting two sounds. Okay, is it fine now? Okay, is it good? Fine? Yeah, it's great. Okay, so okay, thank you, thank you. Sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, now let's move on. The webcam is expected to have a product life cycle of 2 years, right? Market research has already been carried out to establish a target selling price and projected lifetime sales volume for the product. Cost estimates have also been prepared based on current proposed product specification. Camco uses life cycle costing to work out the target cost for its products. You are provided with the following relevant information for the webcam, and that is projected lifetime sales volume, target selling price, and target profit margin. Okay. Estimated lifetime cost per unit is given to you, which includes manufacturing costs, that has direct material, okay, and direct labor, machine cost, quality control cost. You have non-manufacturing of 60 here as well, okay, and estimated life cycle cost per unit 160. Now, let's start with the first requirement first. What is the target cost for the new webcam? We are supposed to work out the target cost for the new webcam now. So let's begin with this calculation. Let's see what is the target cost for this new webcam. Now, how to work out this? Not difficult at all. We can easily handle this question just because it requires a basic knowledge of target costing. So we are required to work out the target cost. So what is the formula? We need the selling price, okay? And from this, we need to deduct the desired profit. So let's see what information we have as regard the selling price. So the target selling price given to you is 200. Okay, it's 200. And the desired profit margin is 35%. So it's margin. And when it's margin, you apply this on the selling price. Okay, so yeah, 200, and you will multiply this with margins. The margin is 35%, 35%, and you will get the answer of, so the 35% makes up how much? Let's work out. 200, 35% is 70. Okay, once you deduct, so you will get the target cost of 130. Okay, so the answer is 130. I wish we get question like this in the paper. What do you think? Yes or no? Right, so it's 130. Simple, straightforward. The first question will take less than 30 seconds, even maybe 10-second max. Okay, but the other questions will take time now. So this is the time management, right? That's why I always say start from easy marks. Now, the next requirement is what is the direct material cost per unit in light of new information in point 1. So now let's move here. Right now, we are given with the direct material cost of $40, but the new information is given here. So let's read. The following information has been identified as relevant. Direct material cost. All of the parts currently proposed for the webcam are bespoke. Okay. However, most of these can actually be replaced with standard parts. However, just try to figure out on the wordings, because normally students do struggle with English. Okay. Most of these can actually be replaced. So the parts that you are using right now, you can replace those parts. Okay, most of these can actually be replaced. You can replace those with standard parts. So these are bespoke parts. Bespoke means that according to the customer requirements. So you can replace these with standard parts, right? and those standard parts will cost 55% less. Okay, that makes sense, because if you can reduce the cost, why not? However, three of the bespoke parts, which currently account for 20% of the estimated direct material cost, cannot be replaced. So it says that this is your material cost. Try to understand. Okay, it says that this $40 is the material cost, right? And let me bifurcate this. This line is making clear that in this material cost, there is 20% cost, 20% cost. So how much is 20% of $40? So 20 multiplied by $40 is 8. Okay. So it says that uh, the three of the bespoke parts, which currently account for 20% of the estimated direct material cost, cannot be replaced. So you can't replace 20% parts of this, because you can't do it, right? You can't replace it with standard parts, although an alternative supplier charging 10% less has been sourced for these parts. So it's very simple. If you just read it step by step, just note down what is being written, and the way you read, if you just do the number analysis that I'm doing, so that makes a lot of sense. So this means that this $8 relates to those parts which you cannot replace, right? So what can you do then? You can not replace these parts. So what can you do then? You can source this from a different supplier that will cost you less 10%, right? So this means if you can get 10% discount on this, as it says 10% less, so how much will this cost you then? 90%. Okay. So if I just incorporate the discount factor, so 10% less means that it will cost you 90%, and that makes 7.2. 7.2. Are you getting the point? So 10% less means 7.2, right? So you can source this from different supplier, and that will cost you 7.2. Now, what about the remaining 80% of 40? So that makes 32. So now what about this 32? So as it was mentioned that this 32 relates to bespoke parts which you can replace, which you can replace, which you can replace. And if you can replace these, so the replacement will cost you 55% less. The replacement will cost you 55% less, which means that this 32 will now come to what? So if 55% less, which means your cost now will be just 45%, right? Your cost now will be just 45%. So 32 into 0.45 is 14.4 now will be the cost. Okay, 14.4 now will be the cost. And if you add these two together, so your cost goes up to 21.2. Your cost goes up to 21 point, no, it's 21.6. I beg your pardon. Yeah, 21.6. So your cost goes up to 21.6, and this is your revised cost. Now, listen, this is target costing, and this is what you can do in the planning phase. Now, your current estimated cost was coming at 40. So what you could have done, you did the research, you had a brainstorming session. This is what you do in target costing. You try to reduce the cost, and this is something that will help you to reduce your cost gap. Okay, so the cost that was 40, you can bring that to 21.6. This is the best thing about target costing, right? So the answer is 21.6. I hope this is clear. If you have any question. Clear, guys? Okay. Ibrahim, obviously I need to cover up the parts first one by one, then I can move, right? So it's 21.6. Yeah, the question is, sir, why did you apply the new cost to 20% then when it said not, it's not replaceable, that is fact, but you can see you are ignoring this information, which is saying that alternative supplier, alternative supplier uh, can be used and that will cost you 10% less. So that's why, okay? Nurse, I think I've answered your question here. So that is 21.6. Your answer 21.6. You are getting the answer of 21.6. Okay. Yeah. Now the next question is, uh, what is the average direct labor cost per unit in light of the new information in point 2? So now let's look at that information of point 2. So done with material, right? It was straightforward. I hope no questions. Labor. So the current labor cost is 26. Let's see what it says. The webcam uses 45 minutes of labor. 45 minutes of labor, which cost how much? Which cost 34.67 per hour. Okay. The use of more standard parts, once you will use more standard parts, as it was mentioned in the material cost, will mean that while the first unit would still be expected to take 45 minutes, there will now be an expected learning of 90%, where B is negative 0.152, and this will end after first 100 units have been completed. Now, this is a very good question. Okay, this is incorporating learning curve, right? Okay, Brian, got it. Okay, okay. So, clear? Now this is clear to you, right? So now, as you have seen, that first 100 units, the learning will stop at first 100 units. Now this is completely learning curve based, right? This completely requires the concept of learning curves. Are you all getting my point? Okay. Now, how to deal with this question? What to do? So I think I won't have much space here. Yeah, I have sufficient space here. So I can perform my calculations here. Now, how will I work out the direct labor cost? Incorporating learning curve, right? So a quick idea that I want to throw in front of you about learning curve is that you all know that learning curve, okay? Learning curve is basically a phenomena which says that once you perform any work for the first time, your time will be highest. But due to your repetition, your time gradually comes down. Okay, your time gradually comes down. And a time will come when you will be at the lowest point and your time will be so much less that you can't reduce the time below that, right? So this is what the phenomena is, and you have a formula here, which is y is equals to ax to the power b. Okay, so you know what a is? A is basically time for first unit, okay, where x is number of units for which you need to work out, and the power b is log 2, sorry, log learning rate divided by log 2, right? So now let's begin here with the calculation. Because of the more standard parts, the time will go down. and your cost will go down, obviously. But make sure that here you have information that is given to you in terms of minutes. Okay, so it's up to you whether you take minutes, or it's up to you whether you can convert this into hours. It's all your own wish whether you need to keep this in minutes or hours. So that's your own wish. Okay, now what to do here, how to start. So for learning curves, there is a quick method I want to tell you. If I've also mentioned in my previous webinars as well, and you have seen in the $1,000,000 plan, I'm sure now. So there is a small procedure, small simple understanding you can keep. Is first cumulative units. I'm writing it short, cumulative units. Okay. Second you have is cumulative average time per unit. Okay. Third you have is total time. If you just remember these four things, so your calculation will be really easy. Incremental time. So for a detailed understanding, you can watch my webinars that I've conducted previously. But right now, a quick idea I want to give for your ease of calculation. If you remember these four headings, your learning curve will be strong as a rock. Any calculation of learning curve will be within these four headings. This is for sure. This is my guarantee. Okay. Now, it says that the learning will stop after first 100 units reach. Okay, which means that let's work out the time for first 100 units. 100 units, first 100 units. Okay, so I'll apply this formula, which is y is equals to, so how much was the time for the first unit? So it was clearly mentioned that that will remain at 45, right? This is the 45 given here. Okay, so 45, I need the time for 100 units, so I'll multiply this with 100, and the value of this is already given to me in the question, so I will prefer using this value. Here is the value, minus 0.152. So I will prefer using this, minus 0.152, and I will get the answer here. So can you tell me what answer will you get here for first 100 units, the average time for first 100 units? What answer exactly are you getting in minutes? Now we can, now here I need to tell you one thing, because no decimal policy is given here about the workings. So in learning curves, to be on safe side, use more decimals, 3 or 4, 3 or 4. Okay, 4 is, I think, more secure. Okay, 4 is more secure. So let's use here 22.3469 minutes. Okay, 22.3469 minutes. 4 is secure. Now this is what, if someone doesn't know, so this is basically average time, average, you know, average, yeah, average time per unit, average time per unit for all 100 units. So if someone says how much is the average time per unit for first 100 units, so the answer is 22.3469. This is the average time per unit for entire 100 units. Okay, now as this is the per unit time, so I can multiply this with 100 units to work out the total time for 100 units, and the total time for 100 units is simple. You can work out that as well. So let's see what answer are we getting for the total time here. Yeah, it's simply it's simply 2234.69, right? So this is the total time for 100 units. I hope this is clear to all of you. Now, because I know the learning will stop at first 100 units. So this means that it's a common sense that everybody should know. If the question mentions that the learning will stop at first 100 units, so the question is, what about the units that are after 100? So it's an assumption, and the assumption is whatever time your 100th, are you listening to what I'm saying? Whatever time your 100th unit will take, that will be the time that you need to take for all the units after those. So for that, what I'll do, I'll work out the time for first 99 units. First 99 units. Okay. So the same working, y is equals to 45 bracket open 99 negative 0.152, and the answer to 4 decimal places will be 22.3808. Okay, see, that is why I'm taking 4 decimal places, because how close the figures are, how close the figures are. Okay, I'll tell you, Ali, why not for 101. Just wait, I'll tell you. So 22.3808, right, multiplied with 99, and you will get the answer of 2215, right? 2215.70. I can make this to 2 decimal places. 2215.70. And now, what is the differential time of these two? So let's work out the differential time. Uh, it's 2234.69 minus 2215.70, and it's 18.99. Okay. Now, can any one of you tell me these minutes are for which unit? So let me change the color. These are for 100th unit. These are for 100th unit, right? So now the working is straightforward. It's clear. And I just need to address Ali's question as well here. As Ali said, why not 101 and why 99? So just look at the wordings here, Ali. It says that here, it says that this will end after the first 100 units. After the first 100 units uh, have been completed. So this makes very simple. This makes very simple that first 100 units is where learning will be applicable. Now, can you tell me, Ali, the last unit where the learning will be? So that is 100th unit is the last unit where the learning will be applicable. It's the 100th unit, right? After that, there will be no learning. So this means the last unit where the learning will be applicable is the 100th unit. And this is what you have to keep in your mind, that you just need to figure out in the examination the last unit where the learning will be applicable. So that is 100th unit. Okay, that is 100th unit. And if that is 100th unit, which means it's simple, it's to the point, that you just need to take what? You just need to do a quick working. If last unit is 100th one, so quickly do calculate first 100 units time, right? And the previous one, calculate first 99 units time. So the difference of these two is the time for the 100th unit. Okay, clear? Understood, guys? So a quick one before I move on. If in the question, it says that, the learning will stop on 100 units. So remember, the last unit where the learning will be applicable is the 100th unit, right? So what you need to do, you need to work out the total time for 100 units and the total time for 99 units, because the last unit is the 100th unit. So whatever time the last unit took, all the remaining units after that will take the same time. Got it? No, that's wrong, Ali. It's the first 100 units the learning is applicable, not more than that. Not more than that. Okay? First 100 units, that's it. Now, how many units are we targeting here? So we are targeting 50,000 units for the entire life. Okay, 50,000 units for the entire life, which means the learning is applicable for first 100 units only. Are you getting the point? So can you tell me the number of units where learning will not be applicable? So it's simple. 50,000 minus 100 units where learning will be applicable. So there are 49,900 units remaining are those where learning will not be applicable. Okay, so 49,900 units are those where learning will not be applicable. Getting the point, everyone? Clear? Great. Now let's do the final calculations. So okay, first let's write time for first 100 units is, we know the time for first 100 units is how much? Here is the figure, 2234.69. Okay, great. Now calculate the time for 49,900 units. Okay, so how will we work out the time for 49,900 units? It's simple. 49,900. Now every unit that you produce after the 100 will have the same time, right? Because the learning has stopped. So all the units after will have the same time as was for the last unit, that is 100th one. Okay, so let's multiply this and see what the answer are we getting here in this case, right? So if I multiply this 49,900 into 18.99, so I'm getting a figure here close to somewhere 94,794,761. Okay, getting the point, everyone? Okay, so it's 94,761 is the figure I'm getting here, right? Let me write it this clearly, 94,601. And if I add these two, so I get the total time plus 2234.69, and that is 49949,836. If I just round it off, so this is the total time for entire 50,000 units. Getting the point, my friends? Clear? Are you clear about this? Okay. Now the question is, should I convert this into hours? Yeah, I will convert this into hours. It's up to me. I can convert 45 minutes into hours initially. That was also possible. And I can convert the total minutes now into hours. That is completely possible. So it's up to you. It will not have an impact on your final answer. Okay. So this is the total time I'm getting here. And now I'll convert this into hours to see how much hours will be. So divide this with 60. You know, 1 hour takes 60 minutes. So it's 949, 836 divided with 60. And these are 15,831 hours finally. Okay, clear? 15,831 hours. Now, finally, just a quick overview what I did here. As the learning will stop at 100 units, right? So I worked out the total time for 100 units because I know the learning will stop after 100 units. So the last unit where the learning will be applicable was the 100th unit, and I needed the time for that. So I worked out 99 units time. The difference of these two will be the time for the 100th unit. 100th unit means the time, the unit where the learning was applicable for the last time. So that is 18.99. So as I needed time for 50,000 units altogether, right? Because total units for the entire life are 50,000. So first 100 units are the one where learning will be applicable. So the total time came from here. Okay. For the remaining 40,900, I just multiplied this with 18.99, the time for the 100th unit, and this is the total time here. I added these two, divided this with 60 because 1 hour takes 60 minutes. So these are the hours for 50,000 units. Yeah, you can do this. You can convert 45 divided by that 0.75. So ISMA, this is also very much possible, right? Now let's move on. Let's finalize the figure. Let's multiply this with the per hour rate of 34.67 here. Okay, 34.67. So it's 15,831 multiplied by 34.67. And the answer is 548,861. So this is your labor cost. This is your new labor cost. This is your revised labor cost. Okay. And as we need answer in per unit, so I'll divide this with the number of units, and those are 50,000. So if I divide 548,861 divide by 50,000, so I'm getting answer of approximately 10.98. Okay, 10.98 is my cost. So this is 10.98. So here is the answer in front of you people. I'm sure this is pretty much clear the way I've done the workings. Nothing to be worried about. It's using the principles of learning curve, and it's a common sense. Remember, the only last message I need to give to you people is that in case of learning curves, you need to remember that just look where the learning will stop, and that the last unit where the learning is applicable is the unit that you need to focus on. You need to work out the time for that, and this is done by a simple working: 100 units minus 99, and that time for the last unit where learning is applicable, that time will be used for all the other units that you make later on. Okay, Verma, 10.97. If you write, it all depends on decimal policy right now. I have just rounded this to 2 decimal places. I'm saying again and again, in real examination, the decimal policy will be given to you, so you have to use that. Okay. Why did we multiply with 34.67? It's the rate per hour. It's the rate per hour. to work out the labor cost. You multiply rate per hour with the number of hours to work out the cost. That's why 34.67. So it's not 3467, it's 34.36. It's 34.67. Let me write this again for you. 34.67. Yeah. Okay. Doesn't happen, Zishan. That doesn't happen. I'm again saying you, doesn't happen. Okay. Okay, guys. Understood? So this question took time. The first will not take time. Second will not take that much time. Okay. Understood, everyone? Clear? Akif, again, I'm saying this will not be the case. In real examination, you will see the proper policy given. Okay. Fazil, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. No, you need to work out the average. Now that's wrong. No, Fazil, that's wrong. You can't do the way that you just mentioned here. You need to work out the total and then divide with the number of units. Yeah, that's wrong. Rate per hour. What to explain, my friend? Rate per hour is simple. It's given in the question. Per hour rate. To work out labor cost, what you do? You multiply hours with the rate per hour, right? Per hour rate. Okay. Now, see the cost that currently was 26. And after the learning curve effect, the cost came down to 10.98. Can you imagine? 10.98 from 26 came down to 10.98. This is the impact of learning curve. Okay. So Vidhi Kapoor, your question is question rounding off is asked. So we'll round off the total answer, or we'll. Now again, I'm mentioning here the there are two things mentioned in the paper. One, workings to two decimal places. Second, final answer to two decimal places. The question mentions either final answer you have to round off or the workings. So if it says workings, so entire process will be two decimal places. If it says the final answer, so only the final answer. So right now we didn't had any policy mentioned here. In paper, the policy will be there. If you have the policy, just follow accordingly. Okay. Yeah, Ali, all the units after the 100 units, all units after first 100 units will take the same time. All the units after the first 100 units, right? Yeah. Got it, everyone? 34.67 is where in the question. I think the screen is not working right at your end. I'm showing this again and again. Here it is, 34.67. I don't know. I think it's there is some kind of a lag. That's why you're not able to figure it out. Anyways, let's move on towards the last area of again this question, and let's see what it has to say about the theory. So I'll just quickly move towards the disadvantages of this area. Maybe I need to use it. So let's look at the positives. Another shortcut coming up for you people, another shortcut. So let's see. Market-based price will be established. Okay. New working methods will be identified. Okay. It allows customer requirements to be incorporated at the design stage. Okay. Cost controlling at design stage. Okay. Now we have P price, W working method, C customer requirements, another C cost. So it's a shortcut in front of you by the name PWC. So you know what PwC is. Have you ever heard what PwC is, guys? Price Water Coopers, right? Big Four firm. Yeah, everybody knows it, right? PwC, Price Water Coopers. So the shortcut is PwC square. Now, what P is? Price. According to the market conditions, because you conduct a market survey at the initial phase, right? So you are able to set market price according to market condition. Okay. Now, it's strange. Mikkel says, I own that firm. Mikkel, are you sure you own PwC, the audit firm? Mikkel, hello? Mikkel, I want to contact you. Just share your number, please. Is it true? Okay. So the market price, okay, in your dreams. Oh, thank God. I'm relaxed. In your dreams. So everybody now would have contacted you after the session for their articleship then. Anyways, so market-based price, right? That's okay. New working methods will be identified. Obviously, here you are thinking about the working methods. You are thinking about moving from labor intensive to machine intensive. Okay. So this means you are thinking about reducing the cost. You identify new working ways. Okay. Customer requirements will be incorporated, obviously, as you are conducting the survey at the initial phase. Okay, the survey. So obviously, customer requirements will be identified at the initial phase, right? It allows cost reduction at the design phase. Obviously, once you reduce the cost gap, so this means you are reducing the cost, which is the core purpose of target costing. So the advantages, the positives are PwC square, right? Now, having said that, let's move towards the last two questions. Are the following statement true about target costing? Target costing ensures that new product development costs are recovered in the target price for the webcam. Come on, is it true? It's a false statement. It's a false statement. Why? Because it never ensures. It never ensures. It never ensures that your cost will be recovered or not. It never ensures. It starts from market price. It starts from market price. That is a separate thing. Vidhi Kapoor, try to understand. It never ensures that you have to cover everything. You know, we start from market price, we work our desired profit, we get the target cost. Okay, so we reduce the current cost, we bring that to target cost, but we never ensure that everything is being covered by the price or not. Right? Yeah. A cost gap is the difference between target price and target cost. Is it the right definition of cost gap? Is it the right definition? No, not at all. Target price, target cost, no. Cost gap is current estimated cost minus target cost. Clear? Simple? Less time. Examiner will go for a balanced question. Remember, it will not be the case that everything will be difficult. Okay? First one, I just mentioned that it never ensures that you cover the development cost. Your price doesn't ensure that. Okay? Target costing doesn't ensure that your entire development cost is covered. This is not the work of target costing. Right? Okay. And that is something you do through life cycle costing, not target costing. Which of the following in the drop down list represents a possible method for closing cost gap? So now this is a good option. This is a good question. Select the right method, guys. Yeah, Fazil, you're right. Increasing selling price will reduce the cost gap? No, because you can't increase the selling price. Why? Because it's a market price. As you have determined the price using the survey through market survey, so you can't reduce the price. Okay. So that's wrong. Employ more specialist staff in its production. It's not a guarantee, because if you say specialist will be good, so I will say the salary or the cost of the specialist will be high as well. It will increase your cost as well. Okay, so this is not a confirmed method, right? So not the right option. The cost may increase. Redesign the webcam. Okay, in MCQs, find out the distractors. Listen, this is one of the last tips I'm giving you for this webinar is distractors. This is a distractor. This is a distractor because this is distracting you, because you might think, okay, yeah, specialist staff, more efficiency, cost may go down, but the cost will increase as well. This is a distractor. Okay. Increase the number of bespoke components is straightforward wrong, because bespoke, first of all, the question is, do you know what bespoke is? Until unless you don't know the meaning of bespoke, how can you figure it out? So sometimes what students do in the paper, see here people are saying no. So in the exam, if you don't know bespoke, so you say, now what you do in paper, you say, okay, I don't know the meaning of the word, so this cannot be the answer. Right? Because you say, if I don't know the meaning, so this cannot be the answer. Now that's wrong. It could be the answer, right? Now bespoke means customized, made to order, we say, okay, according to customer requirements. So normally bespoke is never cost cutting option, because using more standard parts, as was mentioned in the scenario, standard parts, right, really were the option. And if you keep yourself intact with the scenario, so this is what they were planning to do as well, right? As you just saw here, that they wanted to shift from bespoke to the standard parts to reduce the cost. Okay, so this is wrong. And the last is the king, is the answer, is what we wanted to, is redesign the webcam. You just do the now this is the redesigning aspect you did. They were redesigning. Yeah, Mahmood is perfectly right. They were redesigning it, and this was the redesigning work that they did, and this helped them to cut down the cost. It brought their material cost to 21.6, and it brought their labor cost to 10.98. So this was redesigning using standard parts more, and this is something that helped to cut down the cost. And this is the end of your target costing with Rizwan Mania. I hope the way again I handled the scenario and things were in your control, the way I used my PowerPoint presentation, and the way I explained things were on track. I'm not getting your question, dear Bright. What are you saying? I'm not getting your question. Okay, just repeat it, please. So many tips, so many mnemonics today. So can you tell me a list of mnemonics here? A list of mnemonics. So quickly, a quick test of mnemonics before I move towards the next area. Now, can you tell me, just write the technique name. Let's revise today's session, okay? Come on, don't write it. Please don't write it. Listen. 2C2A. 2C2A is what? It's the mnemonic of ABC costing steps. Right. Great. FMCA. FMCA is the mnemonic of ABC costing. Right. Advantages. Great. Okay. Now, buy car or bekar for Pakistan and English students. Okay. So buy car or bekar. This is what? Drawbacks of ABC costing. Right. Great. Now, PWC square. PWC square. Let me see what it is. Target costing. No, it's not the step. See, you people are cheating here. You thought I'll ask in a sequence, and that's why you just wrote it here. See, people are writing steps. That's bad. So just listen the question. This is the problem of our students in the paper. They don't understand the question, right? So it's benefit of target costing. Right, great. Okay. Now MDTC square. MDTC square. Yeah, target costing steps. Yeah, great. Target costing steps. So my friends, here we are with the new areas of IT that have been introduced. So I just want to give you a quick idea of that as well. Okay. So let's begin with these new areas, and don't leave. Be with me till the end, because last 10 minutes or so, I will be investing on the key tips, the planners, what to do, what not to do, because today is 19th of February and your paper is in first week of March. Okay. So it's important that you should know what you have to do and what you don't have to do. I think it's 3rd of March, right? So you are left with around what you say, February 20th, and it's 28 days month. So you are just left with, I think, 10, 11 days maximum. So what to do in the remaining days, I'll guide you. Anyways, new areas. What is the word IS? IS is information systems. Okay. So what is information system? A system that enables communication, sales, marketing, supply chain management, decision making, employee management, and much more. A tool to improve efficiency. Now, information systems are used by organizations that helps to improve your communication, your sales, your marketing, your supply chain. Okay. Now, common examples. First, internet. So internet, everybody knows, it's a global network. Today we are conducting a class through internet, right? Through IPs we are getting connected. Now, a very similar term is intranet. What is intranet? Intranet. Internet, everybody has the access. Intranet are specific, which means specific users can log in to your website. So you know the website. It's ACCA website, for example. Now, ACCA website, everybody can come. Any user can just write www.accaglobal.com and the website will open. But not everybody can go into the My ACCA account, right? Okay, My ACCA account. Not everybody can go to My ACCA account, right? So you are the users who have the private access of that. Employees, only employees can get into the system. Okay. So when internal employees can access certain area of the website, that is known as intranet. A general user cannot come into that. So ACCA employees have the right to enter into the portal. Now let me give you the testing portal example. That's more perfect. I'll come to my ACCA account later on. Employees, you are not the employees of ACCA, right? So you have seen the testing application where you can practice OTs and all. So the ACCA employees who have the access of that backend go into that portal and they upload the past paper questions there. You don't have the access of that backend, right? You as what you say students, you don't have the access. So access is given to employees or the tuition providers. Okay, so the tuition providers goes into that portal behind the website, and they upload the question, the objective test, the latest exams and answer and everything. So that is an intranet where employee can access that thing only through their credentials, through their passwords and IDs, right? So this is intranet, specific private access of website and used by the internal people of the organization. Internal, okay? Intranet. Now, an advanced version of intranet is an extranet. Advanced version is extranet, which means the access is now given to the outside world, but not everybody. Only the paid users. Only the paid users, not the general public. Now, everybody can come, just log into ACCA website. That's for the general public. That's not an extranet. That's not an extranet. Extranet means authorized personnel, authorized people, I would say. Authorized people can only access to that private network of ACCA. So the example is my ACCA account. My ACCA account. Now you are the paid users. Okay, you are the paid students, you are the paid users. Now you go to my ACCA account and you look at the bad thing, or I would say the good thing, your result. Okay, my ACCA account, you just look at your subscription due, your payment of fee, your details, your address, and everything you can change on your own. So it's the authorized students going into the system. Those who are not doing ACCA, they can't go. Okay, so the backend portal for uploading the questions and all is an example of intranet. Internal employees can use. And what you people as customers or suppliers, if you access the system of ACCA, so that is an extranet. Not everybody has the access of that. You people as paid users have the access. Okay, so extranet. I hope this is clear. So my ACCA account is extranet. Now, wireless technology. Everybody knows about wireless technology. Are we clear about wireless technology? Yeah, we know. What is wireless technology, guys? Wireless technology is Wi-Fi. Through Wi-Fi, things are connected. Through Wi-Fi, you have so many things connected through Wi-Fi. It's a world of Wi-Fi. Your cell phone, your internet, so many things are connected with Wi-Fi, right? So it's wireless technology. Now, categories of information system. So there are three categories: TPS, MIS, EIS. Categories of information system. Now, transaction processing system is used by operational staff. Now, let me give you an example. For example, Nike. Okay, Nike has so many outlets in Pakistan, in USA, in UK, right? And even in Pakistan, so many outlets in different cities of Islamabad, Lahore, Karachi, so many areas. And same in different areas of what you say, UK and everywhere. You go to the Nike outlet, you you go to the Nike outlet and you purchase some shoes there. So a person sitting on a desk or a table will input the data into the system. So this is an example of TPS, transaction processing system. The person who is inputting the data at the outlet is basically inputting the data in a TPS, where the person generates the sales invoice. Okay, person generates the sales invoice. and it gives you the invoice, and that TPS is a one which is accessed by the lower staff. So the lower staff who is inputting the data are doing through transaction processing system. Okay, right. Now, once data has been inputted, so the same system will be accessed by the other people in the organization who are sitting at the tactical level, strategic level. So there will be some people like managers who are sitting at tactical level. They will also have the access of this system, and they will be looking at the overall situation of, for example, inventory. Okay. So then comes a MIS system, a system which basically provides you summarized internal information. It provides you the reports, inventory analysis, how much inventory have been sold in the last 6 months or so, what is the profit percentage of the inventory sold in last 1 year or so. So it gives you reports of your previous stock, obsolete stock, the profitability according to the item that you have sold. So the reports are actually generated by MIS system, because MIS is getting the feeding from transaction processing system, right? And after it is getting the feeding, so it has lot of information available. So using that information, it provides you reports, and that is important for the managers sitting at the tactical department, and they can take decisions that are strategic decisions, structured decisions. Okay. So yes, reports, summaries you get, and these are inventory reports, stock reports, profitability reports. So these are given to you by MIS. And then comes the same system, which is then accessed by the top people of the organization, top senior. Now they are also accessing this system, but they don't get that detailed information, neither they are interested in getting the detailed information. They need a highly summarized picture. Yeah, the 5 years performance, the 3 years trend, very summarized information. So the same system then is used by the top management, who is using this information to understand the strategic direction of an organization. And one more thing is, this also EIS level incorporates external information as well, like the market condition, the competitor pricing policies, the inflationary levels, the demand supply situation, the change in the government policies. Okay, so yes, they basically then get the external information, and this is very important for strategic board of directors, because they definitely need to take decisions which are important for the organization. Okay, so I hope this is clear to all of you, and there is no issue in the types of information system, the categories I'm talking about, and this is clear to all of you that the 3 levels: transaction, the basic level where data is inputted; MIS provides summarized reports to the tactical team; executive team uses very high level trends, and this definitely covers up the thing. So these are the types of IS system that I've covered here. Now, as the time is already very near, so I think now let's discuss the strategy, how to handle the remaining days. So further plan coming up in front of you people, what to do next in the remaining 11 days. First of all, if you have joined today, maybe yesterday or day before yesterday, and if you're not part of my WhatsApp groups, please send me the message on this number and I'll send you the link, because next 11 days I will be with you together. Okay. So if you haven't seen the current webinars, do complete the 5 days. Now, there are certain students who don't know what to do. So first is complete the 5 days, watch all the previous days webinar that are available on ACCA Vimeo channel, and I'll share the link on the group as well. Okay. Second, follow the 5 days $1,000,000 plan. What I'll do, every day I used to send you $1,000,000 plans on the WhatsApp group for budgets. The videos that you need to watch from my previous webinar. Video dollar plan means the videos that you need to watch other than the one that you have seen in this webinar. So I've shared for budgets, I've shared for variances, I've shared for performance measurement, I shared for the fourth one was decision making, and I'll share for this section as well. And what I'll do to make it more systematic, I will also share entire 5 days $1,000,000 plans so that you are able to watch those. Now, this is the task. If you're done with this, so the next 8 days or so, you have to spend on these. This will cover further additional topics which I've not covered in this webinar. Okay, great. So done. I'm sure no issues here. Do complete this. Do follow the $1,000,000 plans. I will also try to give a Google Drive link where the data is kept so that it will be easy for you. And I think ACC will also attach the documents. The admin will confirm that, but I'll provide you in the WhatsApp group. Okay. Then the grand revision. You are all invited to attend grand revision. It's again, it's free grand revision for you, no issues. So I'll share the details of grand revision, which will be a very good one. I'll give you a good recap about entire performance management in 3 hours or so. You will be able to recap everything. So I'll tell you the date and time of that. So no issues. I'll conduct a grand revision that will definitely help you, and it will be a good confidence booster for you. Okay. Now read few chapters from book. Rest cover from my easy slides. So the slides have been shared with you every day. I also did share the slides, but the details slides are shared with you every day. They are attached with your current software as well. You can see that they are already attached, plus ACCA also emailed you. So in the remaining days, reading so many things I think will not work. Just the easy slides that I made for you people, just use those. But for book, I would recommend, if you have BPP available, if you can just take BPP from somewhere. So I'll just show you the topics right now that you have to cover from BPP textbook. You can get the soft copies. I don't know whether you have or not, but yeah, you can cover that. Mock is important. Mock is important. Do make sure you test yourself. You play a match. If you are not doing right practice and you go into the paper without practice, that's bad. So you should attempt mock at any cost, right? And get it checked by any tutor if you want to. I also have my mock based sessions. Unfortunately, those are paid ones. So if you're interested in that, I'll share the details of that on WhatsApp group. If you're interested, you can opt for that as well. Okay, but in any case, mocks are important. Whether you opt for this or not, do solve mocks. Okay, so this is a further plan for the next 11 days or so. You just keep a good look at this. You can take a screenshot if you want to, and just follow these plans very, very religiously. Now, I'm just showing you the book index here. The picture is a bit, scattered one. The pixels are not right, but still, I hope you can see. You can take the screenshot, but just do one eye mark. So chapter 1, chapter 2. These are crucial topics that you have to read. before the paper. So it's chapter 1, chapter 2 that you should read, and the next, these are high priority. So let's make it priority wise. It's high priority, and after that, the low priority, the medium priority, I would say, is this budget systems and chapter 15. Okay, so this is medium priority. Okay, medium priority. And the low priority, if you have time, then you should read this chapter 18, the low priority. So yeah, uh, the rest you can cover through my current videos and previous videos. So I just mentioned high priority, two chapters you should read, because a lot of OTs are coming from these two areas. Maybe question, sorry, constructive response may include this topic as well for few marks to write down. Okay, so that's why this is the most important one, right? Yeah, big data is a new topic in PM, and under this, under these two chapters, you will see the big data as well. Okay, so please just to take the screenshot of this. I will recommend BPP here more, but if someone has the latest Kaplan book, you can just share the screenshot of that index on my uh, WhatsApp group, and I'll just let you know the name of that as well. But it should be a latest book which should include the latest topics. Okay, so I think this is clear. Okay, done. Now, guys, it's almost the end of our webinar. 5 days done. Don't leave, be with me. Just send me the WhatsApp message if you're not part on this number. I'll send you the link. Now, any questions you need to ask first. Sir, how to see your grand lecture revision class? I did mention you can attend my revision session. I'll the grand revision I'm talking about. So I'll share the details of that. Okay, on group. Support complete book in group, please. I'll try my best. I cannot promise, but I'll try. I have the copy, so I'll try to do it. Okay. Dropbox, I will definitely add Dropbox link and will upload the 5 days handouts there, and we'll try to do the book as well, but it will take a day or two. So remain active. You can't leave the group. Don't leave the group. Make sure you are part of the group, because those who will leave the group, they will not get the opportunity to take the support, and they will not get the details for the mock and the revisions. How to improve CRQs? Definitely, I've mentioned a lot of techniques in my previous days. If you just watch those videos again, I've explicitly mentioned if CRQ includes calculations, so structured workings on spreadsheet, and everything should be linked with the right calculations. Don't use calculators in CRQs. For theory, short paragraphs, subheading, short paragraphs, clearly written answers. And yes, the most important thing is identification of verbs and elements are important. I've explicitly mentioned techniques to write variances, that crick, and for performance measurement, I told you one of the game changer categories. So do look at that video of categories for performance measurement for financial, non-financial. That will do a big difference in understanding and reading the question requirements. Yeah, $1 million plan videos are enough because you don't have time much. Crick was covered in day 2 variances, so do watch that. Now, as for the examination method, you should jump to CRQs. Now, it all depends how confident you are in which area. Uh, I would say that you start with section A, do quickly skim the questions and solve easy ones very quickly, easy ones, and then leave the difficult ones, and then you can move towards CRQ. If you see any question in CRQ that you are very good in, that you can start with that, and then come to the difficult one. So it's all depends on how good you are in a particular topic, and you can quickly just figure out in first 5 minutes or so which areas are being tested in CRQs. If you're confident about those, you start with them. Plan everything according to 1.8 minutes per mark. For past papers, I would say you watch those videos, and if you get free from that, so at least you need to solve previous four attempts. Previous four attempts. In paper, you can manage time again. Easy marks first. Grab the easy marks. Solve easy things. If you feel anything which is difficult, so don't waste much time. Leave that. Move towards the next one, and then at the end come back to that flag option. That has flag option is available in your paper. So just flag for review it and then come back. Technical articles, I will share few technical articles which I think one should read on your WhatsApp groups. We don't have section. You will get section A in kits. BBB Kaplan kit includes section A short questions. Graph questions can come in section C, yes, but you will not be required to prepare a graph. So you will already have a graph there and you have to use that. How much minimum requirement? It all depends on how much confident you are in spreadsheet. If you are not good in spreadsheet, so I think you should solve at least 6, 7 questions, 8 questions from now. Decision tree, once again, you don't have to prepare in section C. The tree will be given and you have to use that. For maybe section A or B, a short working on tree may come. Decision making, budgets, variances, performance measurement, all these can be tested in section C, except for advanced costing technique that we did today. So today, whatever we did will come in section A and B. I am available to clear your doubts through the WhatsApp group. Okay. Okay. So guys, overall, I need your quick feedback. Now, two things you will do. One, you give your feedback to me right now about all the 5 days, how it was organized, the way I planned up the things, the $1 million plan strategy, how you rate my 5 days webinar. First of all, just look here, 1 being the worst and 5 being the best. Okay, so how you rate my webinars of these 5 days, do tell me please right now, first of all. Were these useful in changing your mindset, the $1 million techniques, the way I tried to make things easy for you? Were you satisfied with the entire stuff that I've covered in 5 days in terms of content and everything? Okay, is it a game changer for you? Inshallah, it will be. Okay, and my objective to make PM easier. So did I achieve my objective in making PM easier through shortcuts and everything? Okay, so overall you are satisfied, right? Happy? Overall, this session, 5 days were good, right? Maybe excellent, I would say. Okay, okay, thank you very much. Now my support will be with you till the end. Don't worry, I will support you through WhatsApp groups. So make sure you are with me. Now, the last favor I want is that after the session, you will see a form coming up in front of your screens. please do share your feedback. That feedback goes to ACCA Pakistan, who conducted this webinar, who gave me the opportunity. So I want to thank ACCA for giving me such a good opportunity to interact with you people and make your PM life easier. So please do give your feedbacks to ACCA because they want to understand how kind of session these were. So please make sure you do give your feedbacks, and thank you very much for being such a lovely audience throughout the session. Thank you very much. My prayers are with you people. May Allah help you to succeed this paper. Remember, performance management paper is not difficult. Okay, it's not difficult. Yeah, it requires you to work hard to reach that level. Remember, the step up that is required from management accounting towards performance management is very important. That step up is important. Uh, you can't assume that you are doing a management accounting exam. It's a performance management paper. Remember the key thing, whatever calculations you do, remember the word why are you doing this calculation and what the calculation means. What the calculation means for the organization. So this is what is important. Few last suggestions. Prayer of your parents are really important. If you have your parents right now in the world, so it's a blessing for you. Ask them to pray for you. That will definitely help you a lot. Secondly, the only thing we as human beings can do is work hard. Okay, the only thing that is in our hand is working hard. You don't look at the result. The Almighty controls the result. It's the God who controls the result. We just know one thing, and that is to work hard. So you just work hard in the right direction. That is important. Okay, direction should be right. Work hard in the right direction, and I'm sure, inshallah, you will succeed in this paper of performance management. Do remember Rizwan Mania in your prayers, and yeah, do share your feedback with ACCA. I hope I've tried my best to make this easy, simple for you people. Thank you very much. Do connect with me through WhatsApp. See you in the grand revision. Until then, take care. Have a nice day. Rizwan Mania signing off.